Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Brienne, you can also call me Owlco, and in this video I'm going to talk about Crested Gecko cons this time, not pros. If you do want to see my Crested Gecko pro video, just click the little note on the very top corner of my video here and it'll take you right to it. Without further ado, let's get started. I talked about some pros for having Crested Geckos and them as your first pet or reptile in general, but now I want to talk about the cons for Crested Geckos. So with any reptile, you want to go through the pros and cons to make sure that that reptile or any animal is the best fit for you. So my first con that I'm going to address for Crested Geckos is that Crested Geckos, they're fast and they jump. So what that means is that geckos, well, I guess geckos in general, they're fast, but Crested Geckos are pretty fast. They like to scurry away or towards you, depending how aggressive they are, but they do also tend to jump. In my past videos, you can see my Crested Gecko Warlord, he literally is jumping from me onto my tripod and my camera, but good thing that my camera and my tripod are not that far away from me. It's probably like, look at that, not that far. I'm literally just moving forward and back. So my Crested Gecko is not jumping that far, but they do jump, and you have to be holding them or take in consideration the area that you're holding your Crested Gecko, because you don't want them to jump and fall from a large distance or on something that could potentially hurt them or injure them. All right, now my second con I'm going to address for Crested Geckos is that they're crepuscular. I pronounced it. Apparently that's how you pronounce it. It sounds really gross and weird. But anyways, what that means, crepuscular, is that Crested Geckos are most active during the dusk and dawn periods of the day. And they're not highly active during the daytime cycle. So if you want a reptile that you want to see crawling about during the day, Crested Geckos are probably not the best reptile for you. So my third con is going to be that with any reptile, there is always a chance that your Crested Gecko might be aggressive. Now, normally Crested Geckos are pretty friendly and docile, but there are some reptiles that their personality, they just want to be left alone, and they are more aggressive toward you as a handler, as an owner. Sometimes this changes over time, but that you always have to take that into consideration before getting a Crested Gecko or any reptile, is that your reptile might be aggressive, and just because it's aggressive doesn't mean you should just throw it away and hope for the best you're gonna get another well-mannered Crested Gecko. I do recommend that no matter what your personality is for your reptile or Crested Gecko that you get, that you work with that animal. Sometimes you're able to influence positive behavior and make it more docile in the end, but there is always that chance that you might get that one Crested Gecko that is more aggressive than the whole bunch or the whole other community of Crested Geckos. All right, so my fourth con about Crested Geckos is that they can easily get spooked, and some Crested Geckos are even known to drop their tail unexpectedly or with no reason whatsoever. And the sucky and crappy thing about this is that Crested Geckos' tails do not regenerate, they do not grow back, unlike leopard geckos' tails. So once they lose that tail there, it won't grow back. And if it does end up losing the tail or dropping the tail, you do have to set your Crested Gecko up in a separate enclosure, kind of like a quarantine enclosure, so that your Crested Gecko does not get hurt, everything's sanitary, nothing gets infected, and then once it's healed, you can put it back into its normal enclosure. But another good thing is that I want to kind of mention with this con is that Crested Geckos, they can easily adapt when dropping their tail. So if your Crested Gecko does end up dropping their tail, they're not going to be forever hopeless for the rest of their lives, if But anyways, that's it for this video, you guys. I hope you liked it. Please give it a big old thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I am planning on making a ton of videos on crested geckos as well as chameleons still. There's still a lot of information for you guys to know out there. There is everlasting knowledge and research that is being found on reptiles and different species every day. I want to put that information out there for you guys, so please subscribe to my channel and join me along my YouTube journey. I also want to mention too, I did do a pros video for crested geckos, so if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out, and also give that video a big old thumbs up. If you do have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, as well as if you do have any cons about crested geckos that you want to share, feel free to do that just for everyone else to know as well. But anyways, until next time guys, see ya!